Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, June 3, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know though that's been like in your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at what U.S. National Hurricane Center is saying about Tropical Storm Arlene. Apparently, it has now weakened to a post-tropical cyclone, so it's no longer a tropical storm or a tropical depression. So it's going to be continuing to move to the east and weakening as it does so. So that's the end of that. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we still have that ridge of high pressure right there across the northern section of the main development region, still sending some easterly trade winds across the main development region, then curving as soon as it gets to the eastern Caribbean. And as usual, the southern portion of the main development region has numerous tropical waves. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds swirling away associated with post-tropical cyclone Arlene. It still has some amount of meat on its bones, but it is being pushed south and eastward, especially eastward by that upper level wind shear, so it's not expected to strengthen. We can also see the clouds associated with the trough that has been affecting portions of Jamaica for the past week. And we even have a lot of convection right now across sections of Hispaniola, so Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and they've been getting in on some heavy flash flooding taking place. There are lots of clips all over Twitter and YouTube showing the chaos unfolding. So please, if you can, pray for our neighbors there in Haiti. We can also see the clouds associated with the tropical waves right there that are dotting the southern main development region and the intertropical convergence zone. Still brings some amount of rainfall to sections of northern South America. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Saturday. It was stated that we would have received some amount of morning rainfall across southern Jamaica. Then in the afternoon, daytime heating would contribute to some of that rainfall spilling into sections of northern Jamaica. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:10 a.m. we had the Doppler radar images showing a lot of rainfall, light, moderate, and even some heavy rainfall within there across sections of the island. So southern parishes, even some western parishes getting in there, even Hanover, St. James got in on some of the rainfall. And we mentioned yesterday about that southwesterly flow. That's exactly what took place across Jamaica for Saturday, where the southwesterly wind blows all of the low level and the mid level clouds across the island, and all of that cloud is coming from off the sea. And you know what happens when we have the water cycle taking place, the clouds coming out the sea, coming into land, then they get heavy, and then the rain takes place. Then at about 8:55 a.m. another post was made on our Twitter page highlighting more clouds coming in from the southwest, bringing more rainfall to sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. Even had a huge blow up of convection with thunderstorms right there off the east coast of Jamaica as well. Taking a look at another post at 2:36 p.m. we see where we indeed had those clouds. When they made their way to the northern portion of the island, they got heavy and became cumulonimbus clouds. There we have a burst of convection right there off the coast of St. Anna and St. Mary, which proves that they indeed got in on some amount of isolated shower, which eventually led to some amount of thunderstorm developing. But the clouds were being pushed so quickly off the land that they became thunderstorms by the time they went back over to the sea. But we still had more clouds coming in from the southwest across sections of southern Jamaica even during the afternoon and the evening hours, and we're indeed grateful for that. Had some rainfall across sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as portions of St. Thomas. If we take a look at the 6 p.m. Doppler radar images, that was about an hour ago, we can see that we indeed had some light to moderate and even heavy rainfall across sections of Clarendon. St. Catherine got some commenters from Portmore confirming the rainfall, Kingston and St. Andrew as well. And here we have the comments. Bay Cookies and Cream, it's raining heavy in Edgewater, Portmore. Bevy Beauty, heavy rain in Hellshire. And even on our Instagram page, we have the commenters confirming the rainfall. Portmore getting it heavy rains. Central Village just got in on some heavy rain. Like, wow, look like we out to get a little more. And another commenter expressing their joy for the heavy rainfall across Portmore. Alright, so let us reload these very latest satellite images, visible satellite images of Jamaica. And we can see where we indeed had that southwesterly flow across the island, and then we had the upper level winds pushing the cloud tops off when they became thunderclouds or cumulonimbus clouds. And we can also see that when the sun started to go down, we still have a lot of clouds across sections of St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, as well as making its way into portions of Portland and St. Thomas. Let's reload these latest infrared satellite images as well. We can see that yes, we indeed have the high cold cloud tops right there across sections of eastern Jamaica, not to mention some sparkling white dots which indicate some amount of thunderstorms taking place across those various spots in eastern Jamaica. Even on the Doppler radar images, let's reload to see if we have any late image that just came out. So we can still see that we have that rainfall right there across southern and eastern Jamaica, the greens that represent moderate rainfall and the yellows that represent even some heavy rainfall. And if we actually take a look at the See Jamaica live camera in Halfway Tree, we can see that we have wet ground right there in Halfway Tree. Know that we have a partnership with See Jamaica, so you can freely go to their YouTube channel and check out the live streams, the Halfway Tree, the Crossroad, and even the Kingston Harbor as well. So we see those windshield wipers on, we see some people walking with umbrella, and even on the live camera we still see some amount of rainfall taking place across Halfway Tree. Looking at the Crossroads camera, and this was about, let's say, 10 minutes ago before the sun actually went down, so we can see that we had wet ground right there across Crossroads as well. Looking now at the live camera, we can see that we have that cloud cover over on the hills of St. Andrew as well. Taking a look at the Kingston Harbor cam about 10 minutes ago, we can see where it's kind of hard to even see the Digicel building right there, because we indeed are having some amount of rainfall on the coastline right there in the harbor. Definitely some rainfall to confirm what we're seeing on the satellite images. But now on the live cam about 10 minutes later, we can see that we don't have much taking place, having some amount of clouds still dotting the hills of St. Andrew with the nice shade brought about by the sunset. Alright, so let's just take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology's aggregated precipitation for the past 24 hours across Jamaica. So we indeed see where we had that rainfall across the island. We can see where the rain is moving in a southwest to northeast kind of fashion. So we indeed had the confirmation across Jamaica, so southern Jamaica, then spilling into sections of northern and eastern Jamaica. That was the order of the day, but we didn't get as much rain as what we got on Friday. Taking a look at the temperatures for tonight, we can say we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for Sunday, 18Z is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday, and we can see that we have a lot of above normal temperatures. We even have some heat advisories taking place across sections of northeastern Caribbean, Puerto Rico, but not so much for Jamaica, because look, Jamaica is still embedded in some slight shades that mean above normal temperature, so at least maybe 1 to 2 degrees Celsius at most, especially across eastern Jamaica. That high pressure ridge across the area is still sending the trade winds east and then curving to the northwest, so not much of that heat is going to be making its way into central and western Jamaica, but we still have some across the region. And considering that it's the month of June, we're expected to get 90 degrees Fahrenheit weather. and that's about the equivalent of 33 degrees Celsius. So if we're going to be getting up to 2 degrees Celsius at most above average temperatures for Sunday, we should be getting anywhere from, let's say, 33, 34, 35 degrees Celsius across Jamaica. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that we no longer have moist air across Jamaica, considering that we have a somewhat kind of southwesterly flow across the island. We see some of the dry air stretching all the way from the Western Caribbean, coming into sections of especially Western Jamaica with all of that yellow shades. We have some amount of dry air off to the east of the Caribbean as well. As it relates to the Saharan dust, we can see that we still have the hazy weather associated with the Sahara Desert, as indicated by the brown shading. Majority of it is across the main development region as well as the Eastern Caribbean. So try to take necessary precautions that you're not that drastically affected by the respiratory illnesses that it causes. This is 2 p.m. on Sunday, and considering that the high pressure ridge is curving towards the north across the Eastern Caribbean, we don't expect this Saharan dust to be making its way into the Central and Western Caribbean to affect Jamaica, and we're indeed grateful for that. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can still see that Jamaica is surrounded by light blue to slightly dark blue shades that represent anywhere from 0 to 1 meter wave heights, as we can see by the key at the bottom right, and that's due to the fact that we're still receiving some weak winds across the island. Look at that. The winds seem to be coming in from the south, due south winds, as seen on both the Euro and the GFS models for 12 p.m. on Sunday, averaging anywhere from 5 to at least 15 knots at most. And as usual, we know what takes place in the afternoon hours wherever the air piles up, and we see that it might be piling up across sections of northern Jamaica. We know that we might have the daytime heating contributing to some amount of buildup of clouds, so cumulonimbus clouds turning themselves into cumulus clouds, turning themselves into cumulonimbus clouds. That's what usually takes place. And we still have that upper level wind coming in from the southwest across the island, so that will definitely favor northern parishes getting in on more of the overcast skies and showers. However, the precipitation forecast still shows some amount of rainfall around 7 to 8 p.m. tonight on Saturday. See, we have the blue shadings on the Euro model as well as on the GFS model right there for southern Jamaica. So you might still have some more rainfall lingering across Jamaica's south coast tonight. Then skipping ahead to tomorrow, let's have a look. We have somewhat of a disagreement with the rainfall. Look at what the GFS is showing for 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 8 a.m. Jamaica time. We see some blues right there across sections of southern Jamaica, and with the low level winds pushing these clouds from the south, we might have some of that rainfall pushing in and maybe even affecting sections of some northern parishes, maybe spilling into sections of some southern sections of northern parishes. We do see some slight browns right there, not browns, blues across southern Jamaica on the Euro model, but it is not as robust as what we see on the GFS model. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. Jamaica time, we see some more blues taking shape. That mean rainfall right there across sections of southern Jamaica, Clarendon, St. Catherine on the Euro model. The western portion of the island is what we're seeing, is where we're seeing majority of the rainfall on the Euro model. The GFS is still standing strong with most of the rainfall across southern Jamaica. So earlier in the day on Sunday, it seemed to be more across western or southwestern areas. Now it's across sections of some south central, maybe even spilling into southeastern Jamaica. And just like what we said, look at some of the blues getting into sections of northern Jamaica, maybe St. Anne and St. Mary's, spilling into those sections as the winds and the clouds come in from the south across the island. Then skipping ahead to about 2 p.m. Jamaica time, we see much of the same. Some blues still surrounding the island, some blues still on the island that represent rainfall. Either way, we have consensus, we have agreement, and that's what we look for when we want to know for a fact that it's definitely going to be raining. And even if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. And usually the Euro model is a bit more robust than the GFS. Let's see if I have these maps right. Let's see. because usually the okay, now we have it. Alright, so now we have it right. We see that both the Euro and the GFS have some consensus with the rainfall that's expected for tomorrow. So we have some amount of rainfall. Look at that, especially across southern Jamaica with the darker shades of greens, as well as the yellows within that across sections of those areas, and maybe even spilling into sections of northern parishes, especially during the afternoon hours. So we have the consensus. Even although we don't have the reds that represent up to an inch of rainfall, we're definitely expecting to receive some amount of rainfall across the island for tomorrow. And we might get in on some isolated flash flooding as well. Might have some rainfall being heavy in some isolated spots. So get ready for that. Try to get that laundry done, maybe even from tonight. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have the tropical waves bringing some amount of overcast skies, showers and thunderstorms to sections of the southeastern Caribbean, so Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent, Trinidad and Tobago, eastern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname and French Guyana as well. You can also see some rainfall right there, dotting sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica and Nicaragua as usual. And we mentioned the heavy rainfall that sections of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, are currently experiencing, the Turks and Caicos as well. The clouds swirling away associated with post-tropical cyclone Arlene as it makes its way eastward and dies off completely. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the Barbados radar right there, we can see that we still have some amount of rainfall coming off of sections of, let's say, St. Lucia right there. So they indeed had some amount of rainfall, not much happening across Barbados at this time. However, we can see on the wider view of Doppler radar images that we have some amount of rainfall that might come in later on tonight into tomorrow. You can also see some heavy rain coming into sections of Tobago at this time, maybe even sections of Trinidad tomorrow. Lots of rainfall affecting portions of Guyana, Suriname and French Guyana as we speak. And even on the Puerto Rican radar, we see some amount of greens that represent some amount of rainfall, especially on the south side of the island. Alright, so let us take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. So, as stated, we have heat advisories going on for sections of the northeastern Caribbean, especially Puerto Rico. Considering the above normal temperatures that are expected, we see some reds in there that might indicate up to even 5 or 6 degrees Celsius above normal. So try to take necessary precautions so that you're not that drastically affected. Try to stay as hydrated as possible. Water, more fruits, staying out of the sunshine, wearing more hats if you have to go out, especially across the eastern half of the Caribbean. The central Caribbean will be receiving some above normal temperatures, but not that much as what the eastern Caribbean should be seeing. We can also see some above normal temperatures across sections of Central America and South America as well, with the below normal temperatures seen on both maps across sections of the eastern United States, the Gulf of Mexico as well as portions of Texas. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, as stated, the high pressure ridge across the northern section of the main development region is sending the easterly trade winds from east to west, then curving northward across the eastern Caribbean. So that explains the southeasterly flow of winds. That explains why the Saharan dust is not making its way into the central and western Caribbean to affect sections of maybe Belize, Cuba, Haiti and even Jamaica or the Cayman Islands. So we're indeed grateful for that. However, the people who are being affected by the hazy weather associated with the Sahara Desert, try to take necessary precautions, wear your mask, so that you're not that drastically affected by the respiratory illnesses that the Saharan dust comes with. And this is what it's going to be looking like by 2 p.m. on Sunday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, you can still see that we have 0 to at least 1.5 meter wave heights stretching all the way from the Gulf of Mexico down into portions of the eastern Caribbean. And we see that on both maps we don't have any reds that indicate 2 meter wave heights or more across the Caribbean. The highest wave heights seem to be right there across the eastern Pacific as well as the eastern United States, and that's due to the fact that the strongest winds, as indicated by the yellows, will be in those spots. The yellows represent anywhere from 25 to 30 knot winds, and we have those yellows across the eastern portions of the United States as well as the waters of the North Atlantic right there. And just like what we stated, We see more of a southeasterly flow of winds across majority of the eastern Caribbean, which explains why the Saharan dust is curving northward and not moving due west. So we don't usually have these kind of winds across the Caribbean. We usually have an easterly flow, and we might just get back into that easterly flow before next week ends. And we can see the majority of the Caribbean region is getting some amount of wind from the south or the southwest, averaging anywhere from 0 to, let's say, 15 knots at most. And we see consensus, we see agreement on both maps. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected across the Caribbean from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. And we can see up to 1 inch of rainfall being predicted, which might lead to some isolated flash flooding for sections of southern Florida, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, maybe sections of Cuba, sections of Hispaniola, so Haiti and the Dominican Republic still to receive more rainfall, Jamaica still to receive more rainfall, sections of southern Puerto Rico still to receive more rainfall, the Leeward Islands, so the US and British Virgin Islands, sections of, let's say, St. Vincent and areas south of there, so Grenada, maybe sections of Tobago, Trinidad, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana as usual, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras as well. Don't see much happening across Belize with all of those whites that represent little to no rainfall. Don't see much happening across Mexico or the Yucatan Peninsula as well. And we know that when we have consensus or agreement from both models, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.